I'm about to travel 2,000 kilometers around Europe, but the van, yeah, that's not ready for it yet. So this is my VW Transporter, which I've converted from panel van to camper van over the last 2 years. And we are about to embark on a 2,000 kilometre round trip around Europe, going through Germany and Belgium, where we'll be staying in the van for the whole trip. But here's the thing, there's still a lot we need to do before we can set off on this trip to make sure this van's ready. So, what actually needs to be done before we can set off on this trip? First thing is the brakes. The van's still on its original discs from 65,000 miles ago, and they're now getting on to 5 years old. They still look okay, but they definitely need changing soon, so we may as well do this before we go on this big trip, just so we have no issues. And whilst we're doing the discs, it makes sense to do the pads at the same time. Next, I want to fit shelf liners in all the shelves around the kitchen. This is just to stop any rattling while we're driving around. Then there's the spice rack. Right now it's half finished, and every time I turn a corner, the spices go flying around the van. That's one thing we need to sort. Another thing which has been bugging me for years is the gap between the floor and the step, so that needs to be fixed as well. And finally, the van needs a proper good clean inside and out, so we can get this van looking nice and how it's supposed to before we set off on our trip. So, first plan of attack, let's tackle the brakes, as this is going to be the longest and hardest job out of them all which we need to do. So I have done a video before where I change brake pads and show you a step-by-step guide on how to do it, and that's in the description down below. This video is not going to be that, so if you do need one of those, go and check it out after you've watched this video. The discs and pads which I'm going to fit are from the team over at New Texas Frictions. The discs are performance discs, meaning they're slotted and grooved, so will give a bit more braking power. The van definitely does not need slotted and grooved discs. It's a slow brick, but they look really cool, and I've always wanted them, so it's an excuse to fit them. On the front, we're fitting 308mm drilled and grooved discs along with performance pads. Right, safety cocks are on. It's time to do the quickest pads and rotor change I possibly can, because I'm starving and I really want some food. Discs and pads which I've gone for are from the people over at New Texas Performance Brakes. So these are some of the best rated brakes you can get for VW Transporters. I'm just going to put those down. And as you can see, I've gone for drilled and grooved discs, which yes is definitely not needed on this van, but it looks bloody cool, so we're rolling with it. So we'll get the disc on, then the pads on, then fronts are all done. And that's the front fully installed. Now let's move on to the rears. Once again, on the rear, we're going to be fitting 294mm drilled and grooved discs along with matching performance pads. Now the brakes are all done, let's move inside and fix all the issues inside the van. Starting off, with the shelf liner. I have bought some anti-slip shelf lining material which I'm going to cut to size for each of the shelves and stick it in place so it'll keep everything on the shelves all in check and make sure they're not flying around anywhere. Now that all the shelves are done, I'm going to do the same for the spice rack. Let's be honest, anti-slip matting's not going to stop these spices from flying around the gaff on the Rhine mountain roads, so we need to do a little bit more. I've also bought some bungee cord and some eyelets which we're going to make a makeshift wall on the front of this spice rack, which means I can still get them out quite easily and it'll hold everything in place and should look quite nice.
So that's all done. The theory's there, they're easy enough to get in and out, as I'll show you. But because they're that easy to get in and out, the question is, are they actually going to hold them in? We will find out.
Fingers crossed, this keeps everything in check as we're flying around Europe. One last thing to do on the inside to get this van ready, and that is fitting this little horrible gap between the step and the floor and making it look that little bit nicer. And this has been bothering me for bloody years. I don't know why I've never fixed it before. It's just always been one thing which I've seen and been like, I must fix that, and then forget about it. So now we are going to do it. So you can still see some ply slightly on the floor, and that's what bothers me the most. So I've got this threshold strip which I'm going to fit there, which will just create a nice trim on the edge, making it all look a little bit nicer. That is everything done inside and all the brakes done. We are getting everything ticked off very nice and quick. But the final thing which we need to sort, the state of this van. We can't go touring around Europe in a van which looks like this. It is absolutely filthy. Now the outside's somewhat respectable. I've not done anything to make the paintwork look nice. I've just given it a good old clean with snow foam and shampoo. Now let's look at the list from the start, make sure we've got everything done on this van ready for our trip around Europe. So the van's clean, we've sorted all the issues on the inside and we've got new brakes. I think we are now ready for a trip around Europe. Now it's the never-ending task of packing this van up. And time is getting short. I best crack on and start packing. I'll catch you in the next one.